Major new warning tonight from the FBI. Armed protests are being planned at all 50 state capitals in the days leading up to Joe Biden's inauguration.
Thousands of National Guard troops are ready now to deploy, and Jenna Barnes is joining us from the newsroom for the latest in this massive security operation. Jenna?
Ray, Micah, tonight the White House announced it's approved an emergency declaration that Washington, D.C. requested, running now through after the inauguration. That'll provide federal funding and resources as the FBI warns of the threat of more violence in the coming days. Less than a week after a pro-Trump mob broke into the U.S. Capitol, killed a police officer, and threatened to hang Vice President Mike Pence, the FBI is warning the violence may not be over. A bulletin from the agency warns of armed protests planned in Washington, D.C. and all 50 state capitals, starting January 16th in the states, January 17th in D.C., and running through Inauguration Day.
And new tonight, social media companies are cracking down on posts that promote violence. Parler, the app that has become popular among many supporters of President Trump, has been cut off. Apple and Google removed Parler from their app stores for failing to moderate content that incites violence. And Amazon says it is removing the app from its web hosting service for violating its terms of service.
Well, how could they be jamming us if they don't know if we're coming? Break off the attack. The shield is still up.
I get no reading. Are you sure?
Pull up! All craft, pull up!
Take a base of action. Green group, still across the holding sector of each other.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47.
It's a trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! Trap! It's a trap! Trap! It's a trap! Trap! It's a trap! It's a trap! Trap! It's a trap! It's a trap!
Good evening, guys. Christopher Sky Sunderer here. So, there's this supposed call for patriots, Trump supporters of all stripes, be they conservative, libertarian, but I repeat myself, or what have you, come one, come all to the capital of your state, or join the main march in Washington, D.C. on the day of quote-unquote President-elect Biden's inauguration. And folks, come armed to the teeth. We're going to show them who's boss. Meh. If you're listening to this, you probably already know this is bullshit. Clearly, they're trying to set us up, much like they set up a handful of Trump supporters at the Capitol on the 6th. More on that is coming soon, guys. You bear with me. And it's obvious. I mean, this thing is obvious like trail of ammo cans leading to a giant man-sized mousetrap with a bottle of whiskey and a brand new shiny AR-15 on the pressure plate with a sign saying, "Free to a good home." And then there's this. This little gem has been making the rounds on social media platforms. You know, the ones that still exist. Okay, look at this thing. Really look at it. Some things just absolutely scream, "I was made by a commie." Take, for example, Facebook. You know, it's free. It's free to whoever wants it. But they own all of your content. They control everything you're allowed to say, who you're allowed to speak to and when, etc., right? Here's the thing about disguises and ruses. The fatal flaw of every disguise is that it is inevitably a self-portrait of the person who created it. Same thing with lures, ruses, ambushes. Alright, not necessarily a self-portrait of the one wearing it, but definitely a self-portrait of the one who devised it, so long as you're willing to examine it critically with an eye toward psychology. So let us take a cursory look at this disguise and draw a conclusion as to who devised it. The text, that is the main body of text, which takes up at least 2/3 of the page, is literally slanted to the left. The colors are the exact same contrast gesture as seen in every communist flag you've ever laid eyes upon. The red, admittedly, is shifted up the magenta scale just enough to be not quite full commie red. Okay? It is close to red. Ironically, much like our country these days. The other colors, the offset type, the font sizes, evoke the cover of the early printings of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. Talked about it before. It's the modern American Communist Bible. And then there's Lady Liberty. Get an eyeful of Lady Liberty. Torch in the wrong hand, which happens to be the left hand. This not only suggests leftism, but also leftism's ultimate master, the depraved, the demonic, the satanic. If you doubt me on this, if you're scoffing, if you think I'm being silly, need I bring up the 3 inverted pentagrams fucking spray painted into Lady Liberty's armpit? So I think I'm probably preaching to the choir on this. I know you're too smart to fall for this, but please get the word out either way, just in case. As our true president, Donald Trump, seems to be channeling Sun Tzu lately, see my last episode on that, I'll paraphrase something else Sun Tzu said in a way I've heard it paraphrased before. I'm not sure where or when. Anger makes you stupid. Stupid gets you killed. We are all really pissed off right now. And we're desperate for some kind of action to be taken to stop what we see happening right before our eyes. In other words, some of us might actually fall into this trap, not because they're stupid as a rule, but because they're angry enough to swing at a pitch in the dirt out of spite. This very well could be the setup for massive false flags all over the place. It doesn't need to be countrywide, guys. If there's a march like this in every state capital, all it takes is one. All it takes is George Soros to get a few Antifa fuckheads into one of those rallies and fire off some shots from behind a dumpster somewhere, and it's on. They have painted the entire liberty movement as terrorists because of what happened in the Capitol on the 6th. That was, again, there was Antifa there, right? I'm still piecing together everything that happened exactly, but, and again, I'll have more on that in a minute. But it was nothing. It was nothing compared to what Antifa and BLM were doing all year last year. So what is the other information I have on the 6th? Colleen, not going to say your last name, she's a listener to the show, and she's one that I'm starting to consider putting on the payroll as a source. She's gotten me so much stuff in the last couple weeks. Colleen, I love you. Keep it coming. Okay, you're great. A lot of you guys. It's not just her. I'm only mentioning her because this thing I'm about to show you came from her just about an hour ago. She's gotten something to me this evening that is potentially very eye-opening. Potentially. It appears to be cell phone video taken by some of the people who got into the Capitol building on the 6th. Here it is.
I'll give you your hug now. We did it! You were right, we did it!
Dude, I was trying to tell you. I couldn't say much.
You were right!
You just have to watch my chat. Is this not going to be the best film you've ever made in your life? No.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah?
Hell yeah.
Wait, you weren't recording, were you?
I'll delete that shit. But I didn't record you or me. It was just voices.
Okay, now right off the bat, if you go back and watch that video again, more importantly listen to it, these people talking don't sound right. I can't put my finger on it, but they strike me as out of place amidst all the flag-wearing Trump supporters, okay? Now, that's not evidence of anything. That's why I mentioned it first, because it's just intuition. It's bullshit to draw any conclusions based purely on that, okay? So I acknowledge that. But let me just ask you this. They are in the rotunda. Okay, that's what that room is called. That's right near the entrance. So I ask you, critically, does it look to you like they fought their way in here? Does it look to you like any of these people in this video are in a fight or have been recently? I'm still looking into this. I'm trying to find out who this is and where it was posted initially. Okay, so give me a bit more time. Hang in there, guys. We're not done yet. This whole thing is nowhere near over. Now, I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what Trump's going to do. We got General McInerney. We got Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, who's been he's been in the Trump inner circle since the beginning, both saying, hey, it's a slam dunk. Trump will be president for the next 4 years. Okay, but how that's going to unfold, assuming it's true, we have no idea. Biden could get sworn in on the 20th. Folks, even that wouldn't mean this is over. We did not lose until they prove beyond the shadow of a doubt to all 90 million plus of us that we lost. In closing, I only ask you to consider how fast and how hard the Democrats will slap evidence and or arguments down on the table when they actually have some. How fast and hard Democrats will slap their cards on the table when they actually have good cards. If there were a shred of evidence in their favor here, if they actually had video or even audio of Trump getting anywhere near calling for violence, it would be all you hear from mainstream news sources 24/7, 365 for the next 4 years. When they actually have an argument, which is almost never, they play it, man. They play it often, they play it hard. When they don't, which is almost always, what do? They wriggle, they evade, they deflect, they spin these narratives out of gossamer fairy dust about how 90 million Americans are domestic terrorists in the making. How we're all fascists, even though they're the ones talking about sending us to re-education camps. We're not done. And you know what? There's a part of me in the back of my mind that would love to see them try that. I'm not saying I want it. But do you realize what happens if they actually try to put 70 plus million armed Americans into concentration camps? Even shy of that, people, if Biden does get in, if Biden jacks our taxes up to 70, 80%, if we even get Kamala Harris ascending to president, which is it'll either be Harris or Pelosi. And that's part of what all this 25th Amendment bullshit is about. They're going to spin right around and use it on Biden if he doesn't step down. If he doesn't agree to do it. Or if he doesn't remember to do it. Or if he forgets where he is. We're going to have President Pelosi or President Harris. That's just where this is going if they get their way. If that happens, if our taxes jump up through the roof to some unreasonable burnout Sandersian level, we might actually have the first widespread tax revolt since the Whiskey Rebellion. Can you imagine? I mean, there's a meme that goes around all the time. It's got a picture of John Goodman on it, but it wasn't really him that said it. The meme says, what could they really do if we all just decided not to pay taxes? Well, they're going to send the military at you. The military they're not paying? Well, they're going to send the cops. The cops they can't pay? And folks, if this jumps off the way we all are afraid it might, the cops realize they're not going to be busting in the door on a bunch of potheads smoking the sticky icky on grandma's sofa. They're going to be busting in on boogaloo boys. They're going to be busting in on 40, 50, 60-year-old veterans. Guys who really know how to take out someone who was trained in a civilian force. Now, they're stupid enough to still try it. The Democrats are absolutely that dumb. Okay, that they might think, oh, we can do this. After all, we're just sending all these stupid cops in. They're conservatives, so what do we care if they get popped, right? They're dumb enough to try. I think one of the things you'll see happen if the military is sent after American citizens or something like that happens, you're going to see a big chunk of that military and a big chunk of the police just heel turn and throw in their badge. But I'll tell you what, everybody, this situation has got me really worried. And I'll explain. See, it's bad enough that they're positioning National Guard everywhere, right? In preparation for all these right-wing, radical, violent protests. But they shut down Parler a few days before all of this was announced. I can't help but notice that they took away Trump supporters and just non-leftists in general, our main tool of communicating with each other en masse. They took it down just days before they announced all of this. So what are we doing? What are a lot of us doing? Well, a lot of us are doing what I'm doing in this video. Warning everybody, don't fall for this. Don't go. But I just want to float something to you guys. What if I put this post up on Twitter, on Facebook, etc., on YouTube, and it gets taken down quickly? What if anything you post warning people not to go to these Capitol protests gets taken down by Facebook and Twitter? Where do we share it? We don't have Parler. You've got to go to MeWe, guys. That's the only place I know I'm going to be able to share this and not have it censored. It's the only place, and not just this video, forget this video. Anything that you say to anybody, saying, hey, don't go to this thing, wherever you're saying it, if it's moderated by leftists, your message may not get out, may not get around. They might not take it down, you understand. They can throttle your post so nobody sees it. You'll log into your account and say, hey, it's still up. And that the level of psyops that we've been seeing in the last weeks and months and years has me wondering, this day of protest on Facebook? Because even I sent that meme around. Hey, we're all going to sign off of Facebook from 7 a.m. Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday morning. What if that's just further disrupting communication before this thing pops off? We got to make sure, get on the phone, guys. You call everybody you know in the Liberty Movement. You tell them, do not go to this thing. Don't go. Okay? And it is critical because you've got to realize that just posting this on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, people may not see it. They can throttle it. All right, so yes, do that. Share it. Put up a meme or something, or just a text announcement, or even this video warning people off of this. But keep in mind, our reach is limited since the non-lefty communications hub that was Parler is gone. And I think this might be part of the reason that it's gone. Okay, they have this staged event in the Capitol, and all of a sudden they're saying, oh my God, there are 74 million terrorists among us. It's really got me worried, guys. Please do everything you can to get the word out. This is obviously a setup. Obviously. And like I said, people aren't stupid as a rule, but, particularly conservatives and libertarians, they tend to be a more rational and logical bunch. But everybody gets angry. And right now, we are all really angry. They're bitching at us. They're on TV, on the radio, everything. All to what? To rile us up, maybe? To make us angry? And by extension, to make us stupid, if only long enough to get us to jump into this trap? Avoid it, guys. Avoid it like the plague, and spread the word, please. We'll talk soon.